Hello?
We good?
You're up and running.
Okay. I'd like to call to order the regular council meeting for October 18th, Town Council. If you would, please join me for prayer and pledge. Teresa, if you would, please.
Father, we just come before you in the name of Jesus, and Lord, we just thank you and praise you for this night. And Father, we just pray that you'll just lead and guide and just direct us as we conduct city business for the city. And Father, that you'll just give us wisdom and guidance. And Father, we just thank you for all the ones that are viewing online. And Father, I just pray that you'll just be with us and that you'll just lead and guide and direct us in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Debbie, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. For the record, please note that council is present in full. First, next item on the agenda is the approval of council meeting minutes. The first being the September 20, 2021 regular council meeting. Has everyone had a chance to review?
Yes.
Any questions or changes? Okay, hearing none, do I have a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll make a second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved for September 20. Next are the minutes for September 30 special council meeting. Has everyone had a chance to review? And if so, any changes? Okay, do I have a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
A second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next are the October 7, 2021 special council meeting minutes. Again, does everyone had a chance to review? Any questions or changes? Do I have a motion to accept?
Make a motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll make a second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Lastly, the July 28th, 2021 special council meeting. Has everyone had a chance to review that set? And if so, any questions or changes recommended? Okay, do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll make a second.
I have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next item on the agenda is the committee and department reports. Our finance accountant, is out and was unable to prepare the financials. And in his absence, I was able to, at least at a minimum, obtain the balances from City National. I do have those available.
We don't have it, because it's paper.
Yeah, I got a bunch of papers. Hold on. Those are all my. Here they are. Sorry. And just FYI, the general fund balance today was $144,000. We are expecting, of course, the next round of B&O receipts to begin arriving very shortly, which should be around $150,000. So my estimation, we're in good shape, very good shape with the general fund. And likewise with coal severance, $5,000. Parks and Rec was just short of $16,000. We had $17,000 in our special police fund. Our CD is just short of $189,000, which will be redeemed, as everyone will recall, at the end of the month and transferred to the treasurer's BTI accounts. Labor Day Fund, $3,600. Garbage sewer was at $50,000, so we're due a distribution for September for those funds for the city and sanitation board. And our municipal court fund was at 18,005. And of course, we still have remaining the full amount of ARPA funds, the 301,000, which are in a separate account and pending transfer to the BTI account as well. I will note, though, however, I am going to apply the Settle and Stoniker recommended procedures to estimate the reimbursement for COVID expenses that could be payable to the town should council approve. And what that is a carve out of those expenses, relieving many, if not all, restrictions on how those funds would be spent, which is a good thing because we could use some vital equipment and tools and such, as we're all aware. So I'll get that to you. I think I'll go ahead and do that. Roger, he'll be updating some items with respect to our special police distributions and such, and he's still on the learning curve, so bear with him, but I'll help him on that. Any questions regarding the finances that I might be able to help?
Can I have that one put in?
Sure.
Thank you, dear.
Okay, hearing none. Next on the agenda is infrastructure. Teresa?
Yes. Let's see here. Well, we haven't had a meeting here as of late. From what I understand, they finally got the backhoe fixed, and of course, some things with the street department is in transition, of course. But as soon as possible, they are supposed to be starting on some of the leftover projects that needed to be taken care of, like 98th Street and Wells Drive. And from what I understand, signs have now been ordered for the ball field regarding pets and for firearms. So to my knowledge, those things have been taken care of. And tonight, as we move down through the agenda and things, we're going to need to be discussing some inventory that needs to be replaced and things.
Okay.
But for a general report, that's about the nuts and bolts of it.
Okay, thank you. First item under infrastructure is a resolution creating a public works director position, namely Brian Higginbotham. And just as a general introduction for discussion, as everyone is aware, we lost our supervisor and assistant supervisor for our streets garbage department recently. And, a little bit of brainstorming developed the idea that our current Class 4 operator for our sanitary board might have some extra bandwidth with which he could function in an administrative capacity with our street and garbage department, so that we may not need to fill those two vacant positions that were created. That being Brian Higginbotham, as you all are aware, has been an extremely valuable employee, for the sanitation department and the town for the past number of years. And I think, the proposal would be to have him act in that capacity for oversight, assist with major projects such as the culvert replacement on 98th Street and drop inlets, negotiating with vendors, approving timesheets, administrative measures that could help fill, those vacancies created. As well, I think it would be a good idea to delegate some added responsibilities without necessarily any title change or immediate pay increase to the current two full-time employees at the street department, responsibility-wise, for garbage duties and streets maintenance duties separately, just to more or less allow those two individuals to show us what they can do, with the added charges and with that, I'd like to open this up for general discussion. What I would request is an annual salary of a flat $15,000, which is, again, replacing $80,000 of salary for the other two employees, plus benefits. So financially, it's a definite win for us. But and I hate to keep going on, but I did speak with our council, and we feel it's okay as long as there is, a strict reporting of actual hours that Brian would work for the sanitary department. Nothing really changing with his duties there, but it has to be understood that under no circumstances is the sanitation department, paying for any of the actions that he would undertake for the town, and we would be adamant to keep that separate and distinct. So with that, I'll just open it up to council for discussion. 15,000 annual, yes.
And that's the part of his salary that'll be coming out of our budget.
Out of the town budget, correct.
Yeah, do you about know what the kind of division he'll have between the street department and the sanitation?
Well, like I say, I can't speak for Brian, but, I picture it as, arriving before his sanitation duties would commence, just to make sure that, everyone's okay and everyone is aware of what's expected for the day, should there be some special projects taking place. Other than that, our guys at the street department are fully aware of their duties, and they've actually done quite well these past 2 weeks. So they know what to do as far as their routine duties, and I can see Brian, checking on them, seeing if they need anything. Basically, just general oversight, and like I say, taking care of the timesheets and ensuring the department runs smoothly. And then maybe at the end of his day at sanitation, checking back, just to make sure that everything is secure. And we're planning a surveillance package and just working to help coordinate the installation of that and other security measures that we'll discuss later at the location. So again, it's oversight and just to assist the town workers, with their jobs and also some MS4 work. Brian's mentioned that he would like to, offer any assistance he can there as well. That's of interest to him too. So that's welcome for sure. But it's
Well, a lot of times the projects that the town would be working on, he would be working with them, so sometimes they will, kind of combine anyway, so.
yeah, there is a natural crossover, of some processes in town. So
Well, I'll just, if I can, I'll just add this. I was here earlier, and I thank the sanitation board for their approval on their end of this move. And if you've attended sanitation meetings over the years, if you know Brian, you know that he's very good at his job. He takes his job very seriously. He runs a good, clean department, and high character, high integrity. Never had an issue out of him or any of his workers. And I think that's something that's needed down there right now. We need a good shot of that. So I think it's a good move. Like I said, he knows the guys. He's a master electrician. He's very sound mechanically. He knows the equipment. He knows the town. He knows the area. So to me, my thoughts, it's a home run.
Debbie, Francis,
No, I agree. I agree.
BJ, Rebecca.
I agree.
Well, and two, it's important as things proceed, there may be some bumps in the road with the department that we need to work out. And, I think he will be absolutely good in that regard, of helping the guys and keeping them on task, if need be. I mean, it's just the way it is. I hope to raise the base level of pay for all of our personnel, but those that we can enlist, we've had somewhat of a track record of turnover, and I'd like to, put an end to that if possible. So I think if, Brian can lend some encouragement to workers down there are hard, who do really hard work and underappreciated in my regard, or expectation. But I think that would go a long way, to have somebody there to mentor them, really. And I just think it's a good move for what would amount to, just over $1,000 a month is, before taxes. I think that's quite a deal for us.
Agree.
Absolutely.
Council, Scott, do you have anything to add, or?
No, I think I covered everything.
Okay. Okay.
Whenever he worked.
And like I say, we will keep everything distinct and reportable properly to the city of Chesapeake that does reimburse us for their portion of our costs. But, and I will ensure that myself. But anyway, given that, do I have a motion then to approve this creation of the new Public Works Director position?
I make a motion.
Okay, I have a motion by Debbie. Do I have a second?
I'll make a second.
I have a second. We'll go with Teresa.
Okay.
All in favor say aye.
Ah,
Opposed? Motion approved. I know Brian's not here. He's unable to be here. He would be normally, for sure. He's away on a personal matter, but I would like to congratulate him, and he's really looking forward to this. It's not, not to speak for him, but he's not looking at this as, some type of element that we're burdening him with. He's really excited to take this on, and I think that's great. Okay, well, thank you. Next item is a resolution creating a new full-time swing position for the Sanitation and Streets and Garbage Department. And what this pertains to would be a full-time position, an hourly position, full-time, that is apportioned to the town street and garbage department and the sanitation department purely based upon the actual hours worked. So this one's a little less complicated than the prior position in that actual hours physically worked for the department will be recorded and paid out accordingly. I would suggest, of course, at this time, our rate of pay is $13.50 for full-time personnel, which, again, I do hope to raise those base rates in the near future. I would suggest, however, with Brian's acknowledgement and input, that we post the position with a mechanic's experience preferred, in addition to being a general laborer.
Okay.
So with that, I'll open that up as well for discussion.
Yeah, I think that will be a good move too, give additional support to the street department, but where Brian's also taking the lead on some of the administrative roles and stuff to make sure there's full coverage also for sanitation. So I think that's a real good move.
yeah, we're in a real lucky position where if Brian is busy with street department, you have a strong number 2 in Jeremy on the sanitation side.
Yeah.
And to leave things in his hands, he's more than capable. He's a Class 2 operator. And to give him a little bit of help and then a little bit of help on the street side, that makes a lot of sense.
Thank you. It does, and it will, fill out our department, I believe, adequately to, make some needed enhancements throughout town. I know in the recent past, our department's been a little strapped for personnel, manpower, and I think this will go a long way to achieving that. So with that said, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion, Mr. McGee. Do I have a second?
I'll make a second.
Second from Ms. Armentrout. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is approved. Thank you. So I guess we'll post that for maybe a 2 to 3 week period.
Can you
Write it up.
Brian, write it up?
Sure.
I don't know what I'm,
Yeah, I'll get with Brian. Brian can write that up.
I don't think it'd be a bad idea with the mechanic
No,
aspect
true.
added to
Yeah.
it. I think that would be, tailored more to that. I think that'd be good. No,
right.
no,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I'm with you.
Yeah,
Good suggestion.
and I'd include our health benefit package too, you know, that's a big plus. Okay, next item on the agenda is street department inventory. Councilperson Long.
Yes, in fact,
I
Tony
know.
had contacted me today. I think they're still kind of going through and doing inventory, but I wanted to make sure it was on here in case we needed, you know, to approve a certain amount or something, but, we have a lot of tools that's gonna need to be replaced. There's some equipment, we're not quite sure what has happened to all of it, but they're kind of going through and they're doing inventory at this point to see what they're gonna absolutely need to be able, you know, kind of continue to do the work, so, so that's about where we're at, and of course, Mike has an agenda item, so we want to bring about some changes, so that way, you know, we clearly know, what belongs to us and kind of get away from people bringing their own tools and different things. We wanted to, not only for the street department, but all the departments, you know, just be like any other business, tag all your inventory somehow. You know, through, some kind of, either barcode system, etching, something, so that way we clearly know what is our equipment, you know, all the way across the board. But I went ahead and I wanted it on the agenda in case they, you know, fully got the whole list together. And I didn't know, did Tony bring you any more, anything that we possibly need to go ahead and approve tonight to go ahead and start purchasing, or?
Did he tell you anything?
Just by looking down there, they're gonna need screwdrivers, wrenches,
Yeah,
everything,
yeah, a lot of,
literally,
yeah, there's,
everything.
they don't have a whole lot of tools and stuff left, so.
Is anybody taking pictures of what it looks like down there for me, just for giggles? I have pictures beforehand.
Yeah,
I have pictures beforehand.
okay,
We need to compare.
yeah, okay. Yeah, I can, talk to our gentleman about doing that, but that's no problem, but I mainly kind of wanted on there just to kind of cover us in case we needed to prove any monetary amounts, but they're still in the process of doing inventory, so in this way, it kind of gives everybody a heads up, you know, we'll probably have something, I guess, more definite by the next meeting. But we are gonna need to buy some newer tools and, you know, and other equipment just to help them just to fulfill their daily duties.
Okay.
There.
Next item on the agenda is a discussion regarding street department tools. Mr. McGee?
Teresa hit on a lot of that, and I'll just really piggyback off.
Yeah.
My opinion, I think others share it as well. We've got to get away from guys bringing their own personal tools and using it for work, because if they leave, then those tools go away. So the town, in my opinion, and once they're done with their inventory, we can hit on this, is purchase tools for the street department from the town, like as mentioned, with a tag, with a serial number for inventory. You know, put it on a spreadsheet. So we have a good professional inventory. And I know Brian has some thoughts as well on some equipment that could be benefactory to the street department. So, you know, we tag team, get all these guys together and kind of tag team it and see what's needed down there. I think that would be big moving forward. We need to get away from the personal stuff and get to town bought tools in an inventory,
Yeah.
in a spreadsheet type deal, you know, in a professional manner.
Oh, okay.
I just now seen it. But yeah, and in this way too, you know, just piggybacking off Mike said, in this way, you know, if somebody does separate, then there's no question, you know, just over a period of time, you kind of forget, well, what's mine, what's the town's, and da-da-da-da, you know, and of course, I don't want us being responsible if something, your own personal tools or something is damaged, but Tony did send me a text message. So far, they know they're gonna need hammers, wrenches, screwdrivers, and sockets.
There's nothing in those toolboxes down there at all.
Yeah, I know.
You know you can get that.
And I know there was
Yeah,
like some
what- okay,
chains and
whatever
pulleys and things that he showed me earlier today that we had previously purchased, and they can't find them either, so it's hard to tell.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, we need to start just doing professional inventory.
Well, while we're on the subject of buying them, what they do need, they are gonna need some needle-proof gloves
I
and
agree.
stuff. What they are using is, yeah, well, they don't have those now, but they're definitely gonna need them picking up
Maybe have
garbage.
Brian go ahead and order some.
Yeah,
Okay,
something so that they're not getting
Oh, you
poked with
messed with
glass,
Brian?
needle, anything.
yeah.
They don't have any needle
Why's my
proof
chair
gloves.
slowly
You mess
dropping?
with Brian, asking me if he can order some,
Sure.
Slowly dropping.
or we can do it, right?
Needle-proof gloves.
For, straight. Ask him. They haven't had them forever.
Yeah.
Tony's never had a pair,
Not now, I picked it back up.
and I don't think RJ's ever had a pair either.
Amazon too, maybe.
Okay.
If you'll look into that for us,
Okey-dokey.
thank you. Yeah, they,
Okay, next item is security of Rush Creek Transfer Station. Councilperson McGee.
Yeah, this goes hand in hand with what we've been talking about. I know Snook hit on it a lot, and it's been an issue down there for probably say years now.
Yeah.
Security at the Rush Creek Station. There's been, confirmed thefts. There's been, thrown out there that something was taken. We have a hole in the fence. There's no cameras. So I think it's important and crucial, really, to, as we mentioned, some Wi-Fi down there, some security cameras, patch the fence. If we have to change the front gate with some sort of a lock, a different lock. Really, I think that is in need of a true lockdown. When, especially being off-site, 'cause that's when a lot of things have happened. And Mayor, I know you've had been working on some things and looking into some things, and have some thoughts, and so I'll pass that to you if you.
Sure. Yeah, I'd like to, consider placing a sliding gate, such as they have up at the plant, there with a electronic locking system and key code remotes for the vehicles, so they don't have to get out of the vehicles to open the gate, and also which would have individual ID, so we know who's on the lot and who is not when they leave. So I think that would be, to our advantage and provide the best security if possible, along with, of course, a lot of other enhancements to the perimeter of that facility. It's really poorly protected at this point. Now the cameras, that we're hoping to install will go a long way, at least provide some surveillance, but
Oh, yeah.
general protection of the perimeter would be, a big help too. So we can look at that maybe later, but the gate, I think, would be, paramount.
I agree.
So maybe we can get some quotes, maybe for the next meeting or something.
Yeah, that would be good.
Okay. Other than that, I mean, if I'm still working on the building, the one building I'd hope to obtain is no longer available for moving to the lot down there, but there's still the FEMA trailers. I still want to look at that because those should be readily available at even the government auction site. So I want to pursue that because that would be ideal, for lunch place, meeting place, restrooms, and such as that. And we could convert that block building, someone suggested, to, pure storage at that point. And it's fairly secure, and we could do better on it, but we can come up with some other options, as time passes. But
Yeah, FEMA trailer would be nice.
yeah, you would think, we could find one of those
Yeah.
fairly easy. Any other discussion on the security measures? Okay.
Yeah, I think that about covers it.
Sounds good. Moving on, next item is adding internet at different town buildings. Recorder, on
Well,
top.
I mean, it was just, I know with the cameras we're gonna need it, have we looked into have you looked into that? I know you talked about it.
Well, I have, and I kind of put my research on hold a little bit because I'm thinking that there will be locations throughout town that have absolutely zero access to any internet. So I'm thinking microwave or something even better that we're unaware of. That's why I wanted to have a professional come in and analyze and give us really the comprehensive picture so that we can purchase something that's going to last and not be obsolete within a year or two, like we have in the past. But anyway, that's my thinking. That we get a trained professional, identify all the locations, and securing our fulfilling that for our buildings is easy. It's the locations that, like at the stoplights, intersections, where no internet access, so we can place any type of, router or anything of that nature, but we need some kind of relay system like is professionally used, you know, in the city, so. We do have the $15,000 grant hopefully coming, and
Was it 15?
15,000.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, I plan to, whenever that's on the, agenda, I'll appear and, you know, make every effort to obtain that for sure, but we will have to add funds, I'm certain, for, you know, a professional system, but well worth it in my opinion, you know. But that's where I am on that.
Okay. I just, you know, with everything going on.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Any other, discussion regarding internet? Okay. Yeah, that doesn't preclude, like, I will say, doesn't preclude not having it available, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we want to do that, but there may be, for the actual security system,
Oh,
some
it
other.
makes perfect sense,
Yeah.
yeah.
Could be some dead spots and,
You're
Well,
right.
there's gonna be dead spots, they're just not able to get to it.
Sure. Okay, next item on the agenda is, to provide information on the grant to restore Ebenezer Chapel, Councilperson Long.
yes, we had discussed this at the last meeting and, as promised that we was gonna bring forth some information, especially with the new administration and, unaware of maybe some of the happenings, regarding the grant. But yeah, it was, first brought to, former mayor's, Jay Snodgrass's attention, and, you know, and it took a couple of years, but but we finally was able to pursue it, and, because at the time, you know, when council was together, we knew that the building had been vandalized, and, the roof, was, you know, leaking and things, and we knew it was kind of deteriorating the building. And so before even filing for the grant, council had decided, if necessary, if we didn't get help, we were going to go ahead and completely restore the building. Because for one, it's the only historic landmark, official historic landmark that we have here in Marmet. Plus, it's the only building left standing that Leonard Morris had built in the whole Kanawha Valley. And, so when we first started pursuing the grant, part of the criteria was there had to be public interest, of course. And so I went to Facebook for that, and took ideas and suggestions from citizens, what they would like to utilize the building for, what Ebenezer Chapel and stuff meant. And as far as all of us at council, we kind of decided to go ahead and let Patty write the grant, you know, because she's, very, knowledgeable and familiar with, writing state grants, because she even has to write them for her own program. And so, you know, she had worked with a, historic architect. In fact, there's only, I think, a couple of them in the state, and the nearest one here, he lives in Gasaway. So he had kind of outlined what all needed to be done. He provided all the pictures and everything with Christie, and then that gave, I guess, Patty some of her parameters to be able to write the grant. And of course, the grant was for a matching grant, of course. And we were awarded, you know, 17,000. And so, we can use it for actual repairs, and we can use it for in-kind services, like if Ruth is using part of her day to prepare something, or Scott, he's, you know, also, you know, he prepared like the legal ads and things like that for us. All of that kind of goes into account, and of course, other things, and Patty laid out a lot in the grant. And so part of the grant was, you know, the requirements is to restore the building to be able to be functioned and used again by the public. But then also they want us to also set up, safeguards to be able to keep the building maintained, to be able to keep it safe. And so, so that's why, you know, all the repairs that we're going to end up doing, that's why we're doing them, is to be able to open this building back up for public use again. And that's why we've kind of put in a grant to put in a security system, to have regular police patrols. You know, and depending on, for, you know, like some of the rentals, you know, we can charge deposits, rentals, we'll set up a fund that will maintain to kind of keep the church. And of course, you know, with every grant, there is guidelines and stipulations and, report dates due, and we already had to ask for one extension, you know, due to COVID and have an administrative change. So we're on our, first extension, and the roof and the windows have to be done by November the 30th. And of course, part of the grant is that if we don't keep it, we can lose our ability to potentially apply for other state grants. And there's like a certain period of time and things like that. So that's what kind of brought up the discussion the last time, because we don't want to miss it. Because, you know, when I was speaking with Christy Moore, it's always real easy to get a first extension, especially for the reasons that we have. Asking for a second extension won't be so easy, and we may not get it. So that's why, you know, I was trying to make kind of imperative to go ahead and, you know, get our contract and things like that taken care of, so this gentleman can get started on repairs, so he'll have enough time to get them done and let everything be inspected, the reporting and all that kind of good fun stuff. And so, Patty, I don't know, what else would you like to add? And you probably need to get in the mic so they can hear you online. Since you actually wrote it for us, and definitely appreciate,
Turn it on there.
Yeah.
On the bottom.
bottom, should be a little button.
Pop it out there.
There it is, yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
There we
You're,
go.
you're,
We're live.
you're live.
I'm sorry, I've got to take this off. I can't breathe.
Well, that's okay. Nobody's 6 feet near you.
And I need my glasses, so.
Yeah.
Just to kind of go into a little more detail in what you had said. As you said, this was a 50% matching grant, meaning the total amount of the project, they would give us 50% of the money. And we knew that from the get-go. Of course, we asked for the moon for everything. Pretty much knew we wouldn't get the whole project funded, but we had to ask. And what they eventually agreed to fund for us is the more expensive parts, thankfully, the roof and the windows. Those are the biggest ticket items, and I think the bid for that came in around 28? Yeah, around 28. The award that we have is, of course, 50% up to 17. Half of 28 is 14. But Ruth and I talked about it last week, and we can increase that project total beyond just what the contractor's bid is. Because the city has already incurred some expenses toward this grant. As Teresa mentioned, you know, Ruth's time preparing the letters and the documents, Scott's time preparing the ad, the money that you spent for the ad. Trina and I had actually drove to Gasaway to meet with the historical architect, which he is a requirement of the grant. We had to work with him. So also we have his pay because he's done 2 years worth of work for us, but he's never been paid. So we probably ought to do that.
Yeah, sooner than later.
Yeah, especially since we may need him again, hopefully. But I think we need to obviously include him in this first phase of the project that we're actually getting a grant for. But I'm also going to see if I can add toward the cities in kind my mileage up there and back. That'll be about 130 miles that we can add to the in-kind. Could possibly add my time in writing the grant. I don't know. I've been thinking of a whole bunch of things that I can try to come up with, legally and appropriately, of course, to try to get that number closer to that 34,000 so we can get the full 17, which will ultimately lead to less cash out of Marmet's pocket. The more in kind we put, the more we'll have to, the less we'll have to pay out in cash, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
That's the way grants work.
Yeah, yeah. The second part of the project was not funded by the grant, but we still have to do it. We kind of have to do it anyway. I mean, it involves things like the front door. I mean, we have to fix that front door, or it's going to be broke into again. I mean, it's busted. It's anyone get in there anytime, pretty much. We have to do that. Where the roof has leaked, obviously there's damage to the plaster on the inside. We also wrote in some things like repairs to the pews inside where they did cigarette burns, stuff like that. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it made me sick too. I see
Yeah.
Francis's face.
Yeah.
Some of that stuff we had wrote into for volunteer labor by a local contractor who I think mostly knows what he's volunteered to do. Uh, But,
Jennifer?
and I think you guys had the contractor to do a bid for that part of the project. Right, right. And I think it was 28, 28 if he puts in a new door, 12 if he fixes the door.
Well, yeah, I think actually it was 24 if it was in the door.
Yes, yes, that's it. 28 was this part, yeah, yeah, you're right, it was 23 something, yeah, you're right. That part, the city will be 100% responsible for. We are currently working, and we're right there at getting all of the labor donated, which would obviously bring that number way down. Not using this contractor, but using other professionals with donated time and labor. I'm going to try to get some materials donated, but right now, I mean, if things work out like we want, and I have a call into Christy, she's currently on vacation, but she's going to call me Wednesday or Thursday so I can confirm this, new plan of going with volunteer labor, which Teresa had already spoke with her about some of it. So I think it'll be fine.
Yeah.
But I just want to confirm with her if we do that, and maybe we need the contractor for one part of it or something, for the door or something. Do we have to rebid? Can we just change his scope of work? That sort of thing, just to get some logistics as we figure that out. But that part of the grant isn't due till April 30th, I think. Yeah. So, I mean, we have some time to figure that out. But I think we should have that pretty much sorted by probably mid-November at the latest.
I would think.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I'm going to try to get some materials donated. Maybe Lowe's will give us a gift card or something to buy the paint, or I don't know. Rich is going to try to look at that door and and see if he can fix it. The historian, he didn't feel like and Rich agrees with him that the door is like an original door from the late 1800s or whatever. That's probably been put in like in the 70s or something. I know they did an addition and everything on the building at that time. So I don't think it's necessarily like a historical door, but he's going to see if he can fix it. But that may be an expense that the city has, maybe buying that front door. That would probably be the largest ticket item. I don't know what horsehair plaster costs or where exactly to get that yet. Working on that. But we put in the grant that Rich and I were going to paint it anyway, so he can do that plaster work. He's worked with plaster before. He doesn't particularly love it, but but he's willing to do it for us for free. So as long as she's okay with that, and I imagine she would be, just simply because she's already approved him to work on the pews and work on the painting and all of that. And as I said, he was going to work on the pews anyway. The historian, he felt like we shouldn't strip those pews down and totally redo them because they have a pretty solid finish on them. It has some runs in it, stuff like that. I mean, professional people didn't do those pews, but they're solid, and the finish on them is pretty strong. So basically, he's just going to address those cigarette burns and reseal them up. He's going to kind of sand them out and get any, whatever in it, and just reseal them up and try to keep that seal that's on the pews right now as intact as possible versus, because most of those cigarette burns are very small and they look almost, I don't know, just like you find in distressed wood. Most of them aren't that bad at all. So I don't think it merits, completely stripping and sanding those pews down and doing all that.
Yeah, and we like to try to kind of keep them original with that character and that charm and.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we certainly want to, keep the walls rough. That's one thing the contractor asked if you want me to smooth these walls out. No, no. slaves put that original horsehair plaster on there, and you could still see some of their handprints in it because they put it on by hand. So we certainly don't want to lose that. So as we fix those cracks in that, that'll be, my intent is to bother as little around any of the damage that we can, and just address that damage and not touch anything else if we don't have to. But I don't have a number as to what the second part of the project will be yet. It will be a lot less than 23,000. Because I suspect a lot of that is his labor, and that's rightfully so. But and hopefully we don't have to buy a new door. But if we do, obviously we'll bring that before council and let council know what that expense is looking at. But I'm hoping to have it more into like 5,000 or less. Hopefully way less. If we don't have to get a front door, I'm real confident it'll be under that, because beyond that, it's just the plaster and paint, and I don't know, Rich might need some tools or something, I don't know, but probably not a lot. He's got a good bit of tools, so.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if Mike Goulis maybe even have some suggestions, maybe where we can kind of buy one, even though it won't be back from that period, but maybe look a little closer to more period appropriate than looking like that.
That's possible.
Yeah,
And he, in the documentation that he prepared for us, he has a lot of guidance in there and a lot of
Yes.
detail in there.
Yes, he does.
The work that he did do for us has been invaluable in this. He has drawings and, like I said, highly detailed step-by-step as to how everything should be done. So if nothing else, it's going to be very valuable as this contractor goes and does the windows and things like that we can, kind of check up on. I know Christy's going to come check his work, but I kind of want to check his work more often than that, just to make sure he's kind of following along those historical guidelines and things. I think that about covered. Did I leave anything out? Has anybody got any questions or?
Well, I think just, huge thanks to you and Rich. That's awesome. Really appreciate, everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, too, let me get my email. Christy had approved this too. Mike Goulis, the historic architect from Gassaway, had suggested this group. It's from the Preservation Alliance of West Virginia. And they have a, professional historian that is training the next generation of historic contractors. And of course, it fulfills a part of our grant too. They're going to come sometime in April, and under the supervision of, this historic contractor, this leader, they're going to do masonry work for us for free, and so that will be, very beneficial, and that won't be any cost to the town, and,
That's the one thing that Rich would not have been comfortable doing, is that.
yeah.
And I think maybe we could even have them look at the steps and all of that, even beyond what we were thinking when we were doing the grant. If we got free labor.
Yeah, and of course, so they're coming to do that for free, but it's part of their education, and they will be here for, I guess, for several days. And also too, when they finish up with that, I need to try to get a hold of who owns the cemetery, because part of their teaching and training is they're going to learn how to restore tombstones and stuff. And huh?
You mean the Moore Cemetery?
Yeah, yeah. So some of these older tombstones, like from the 1800s or whatever, that's got all the limestone and all that. Also, part of their training, they're going to be taught to restore things like that. So that will be very, beneficial, for our town as well, to help preserve even some more, history, and it'll be nice for, the families of those loved ones from all those, years ago to, have those tombstones repaired, but that will be very beneficial for, Ebenezer to have free mason work done. And that's not even involved in the grant at all. They're writing up a grant for it. So I already cleared it with Christy, and she goes, oh, yes, that fulfills, obligations of public use on your own grant. So I said, perfect. sold.
One other thing I want to mention, I'm sitting here looking at I've got from the grant where we had included the maintenance plan and the public use plan that we had to submit as part of the grant.
Yeah.
We have in here designate a line item in the budget for church maintenance with startup money. And I seem to recall, and hopefully you remember this, David, but I want to say that we talked about maybe like putting 1,000 in a line item just to start or something along that line.
Right.
And then as, you know, the church could be opened up and, you know, maybe somebody will rent it for a small wedding or a christening or something like that.
Mhm.
Of course, that money would go into that fund to help maintain the church.
Right.
Yeah. We have the security alarm,
Mm-hmm.
police patrols, annual inspections
Yeah.
conducted by a licensed contractor, and there's actually a list, a historical list published by the federal government to, should go down and check.
Right.
Rich can do those. His license covers that, so he'll do those. Then, of course, make repairs as needed. But and I think the public use thing, we've kind of talked about that already.
Mm-hmm.
If churches wanted to use it, like for Easter sunrise services, we discussed in the grant not necessarily charging them a fee, but, you know, donations are always encouraged,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah, and of course, it was gonna be opened up for schools for free.
Right.
And,
right.
and then, of course,
To do field trips and things like that.
yeah, and Donald Jones had already spoken about coming back down and doing the Civil War reenactments, and I know the Daughters of the American Revolution would like to utilize
Right,
the building
right.
some, and in fact, they even want to make a donation toward that maintenance fund, so.
Oh,
Yes.
even better.
Yes, so they're having me to come speak to them in April. Sure, yeah, I'll be there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
But I think for the most part that covers everything. I'll get with Ruth on kind of putting us all together. In addition to on your salary and stuff, Ruth, you want to include your fringe because the city's paying you that too per hour. So, and I did a lot of math of that. A lot of that math when we did the grant. Of course, Ruth's salary's changed since then, but.
Right.
And I also have an estimate for Scott, the accountant.
Yeah, we need to change that, to Roger, please,
Yeah.
because I'm prohibited from doing anything.
Well, probably when we submit it, we'll probably just submit it by title
Okay.
versus names.
Okay.
The state typically don't like us using names in budgets for whatever
Yeah,
reason,
That'll
but,
work.
well, because they change probably. you
Exactly.
know. But I think that's about it. We'll need to contact the historian and probably get an invoice or something for him.
Yeah.
For this. The original fee that we wrote in the budget was $1,600, which is 3% of the project that I wrote at the time, which was $52,000 with the bid that we had, the highest range of the bid, because again, we were shooting for the moon, you know.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Obviously, that's lower, but that's something we need to talk to him about. But that would be, it should be lower than that. Certainly no higher.
Okay.
But like I said, he's done two different bids for us over 2 different years, and we have yet to ever pay him, so might want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's kind of limited. Like I said, I think there's only like 2 or 3 in the state, and he's
Yeah.
the absolute closest one to
Yeah,
us.
I think the other one is in the northern panhandle,
Yeah, I knew there was one up there.
and maybe one in the eastern panhandle.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, he's definitely the closest.
yeah, maybe a career to get into.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anything else? Any other questions?
Any other questions for Patty, or? Okay.
And I mean, I have all this documentation. I've saved all this. So if anybody, wants to see any of it or has any questions, just let me know. I've got a paper for it somewhere.
I
So.
just sent you 2 emails.
Do what?
She sent us some emails.
Oh, okay.
Go look at it.
Okay.
Thanks, Patty.
We'll do that. Alrighty.
Appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is our public safety portion. Michael, do you have any comments to begin?
No, I know you got a pretty big item coming up here to hire a new police chief, and we're hopefully gonna add some teeth to things now with tents, you know, in town, speaking of where they can go, when they can go up in city limits. We'll talk about code enforcement here in a little bit, so, yeah, back to you.
Okay. In that case, Lieutenant Patrick, do you have any report to make, or?
Yeah, I got it. I have a
Okay.
Okay.
I'll bring this copy.
Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
We answered, kind of a slow month. We had, 263 calls for service through Metro 911 CAD. And attached is a log, which you have, you can disseminate with the council. 63 traffic stops, 18 citations, 10 arrests, and, we have 5 outstanding arrest warrants that we filed for. Our vehicles are running good with the exception of Ford Explorer. It's in the shop. It's got some front end issues and it needs a state inspection. It should be ready tomorrow, I'm hoping. Personnel, I've already got one tendered resignation from a part-time employee. So right now we're down to 4 full-time, 4 part-time. And as you know, the security cameras, I put 4 new security cameras inside the building. That covers all interior and exterior doors.
Okay,
That's about all I have.
great.
Perfect.
Any questions for Lieutenant Patrick?
Thank you for filling in and doing a great job all the
Yeah.
time.
Yep.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yep.
echo
And
that.
stepping up to the plate.
Thanks, Chuck, very much.
Thank you, Chuck.
Thanks, Chuck.
Very good. Next item on the agenda is a resolution to hire a new police chief. I would respectfully, submit to council, my candidate for that position, and it's, Ms. Eva Mays. Step up to, if you don't mind, please. I'll just say that, Ms. Mays, she's a resident of, St. Albans and graduate of the West Virginia State Police Academy. She possesses extensive employment history, especially with all legal works, including investigations, FMLA, all aspects of employment law, and grant writing, in addition to 10 years of experience as an officer with Charleston PD. Ms. Mays holds a Bachelor's of Arts in Communication from WVU and a master's degree in leadership from Marshall University. And it's with these qualifications that I feel that we have an opportunity as a small town to head in a new direction with our policing effort. I kind of reassessed things recently, and I really feel that we are well positioned to pursue what can be really defined as community policing. And some of those aspects probably are a little muddled for a lot of the citizens. There's, of course, been a lot of happenings in the past couple of years that may not accurately reflect that theory of policing, but generally it's, and Ms. Mays can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's involving the public in practically all aspects of the police function. And what I mean by that is engaging in foot patrols, bicycle patrols, and just generally one-on-one with the public and inviting the public to be part of the policing community. Providing surveillance with home ring cameras, for instance, like I have, offering courses in self-defense, maybe identity theft prevention, just a variety of things, so we can invite the public to come in and have a forum to speak with us. And as far as, the well-known problems that we experience, like every other community, with those on the street that we see, I sincerely feel that approach, engaging them one-on-one, together, coupled with our anticipated surveillance system throughout the town, may really impact, how those individuals will act and present themselves, if at all, within the community. So, I think, to observe their human rights, basic human rights, we need another approach. And to me, that is to, let the individuals know that, we are watching, and we are engaging with them, and to, respect Marmet when they're in town, in order for us to reciprocate that respect, to them. So it's a model that I hope to work on with all of our staff. And, I'm no officer, but, I can read the literature, and I have worked in areas that involve public safety in the past. And, I'm just very excited about this initiative, and I hope everyone's going to give us a chance to implement this throughout town. And that's really all I can ask. And so with that being said, I'd like to present Ms. Mays to you and ask if council would have any, questions of her. I'm sure she would be glad to speak to answer your inquiries.
I don't have so much like a question, but maybe some of the things that you envision, or maybe some of the things that you plan, because I know you've not been here and you may not even toured the town yet, but maybe just some nuts and bolts of, what you would like to do, some of your experiences, just, and let the, kind of citizens kind of get to know you a little bit.
Sure. So what I would envision is,
Up the mic.
I'll pick up the mic.
Or at
Make
least they
sure
can
it's
hear
turned
you.
on.
Yeah, it's on. She just, Yeah.
It's
It, I can't help it, you're
There you
official
go.
now,
Okay. Is that good?
It's good.
yes,
Okay.
now everybody can hear you.
So going back to what you said with the vision, first, also with what the mayor said, to get respect, you have to give respect first. So I would like to meet with each business owner, obtain floor plans for the school, nursing home, here, whatever Marmet covers. We need floor plans. We need to know what we're going into. Community policing, I, in my experience, was able to determine who killed who on what day because I made quote-unquote friends with the homeless population or the people suffering from addiction, because those people know everything. And even the people on the corner of the street that are asking for money for favors, they know everything. And if you can befriend those folks, but yet be mindful of what they are doing as well, you can get a lot of knowledge. So that is part of my vision. I didn't know I was going to have to speak, so I'm sorry. And also, I wore my kid mask, so I'm sure my face is probably not on. But anyway, so yeah, that's part of my vision, and I can allude more to that, but it's just more community. As a policeman, you don't have to, look at me and compare me to him. I'm smaller, but I could get more, no offense, from a lot of ladies and men, because it doesn't take brawn. Sometimes it takes brain. And not that our male officers don't have that. I'm just saying. that we already talked about that. So, yeah, you can get a lot more sometimes just by trying to befriend someone.
Appreciate it. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Anything else?
Anything else? When we interviewed,
Talk to your mic.
I don't need a mic, you all know it. You didn't see that. Chuck knows better than say see that. No, when we did the interview, it was just, immediate, I just knew. And, I think she's gonna be great, I think she's gonna work, you two are gonna work fabulously together. You have similar vision, and I'm just, so, I feel hopeful for the future.
Yeah,
Very hopeful.
and don't mistake, what we've discussed for being soft on crime. That's in no way, the intent. Trust me. It's just that we need a different approach to, like I say, to respect the civil rights, human rights of the people in town. And we will do that. However, you know, we intend to be very, very diligent and even more so involved in the community where we'll be able to react sooner and be more accessible to our residents, you know, so that contact can be made quicker and to give them every tool possible to receive the best police coverage possible in the town. So all we can do is ask for you know, I guess an understanding and an effort to be made to
Open-minded.
open-minded, and I think that you know, this will pay great dividends for the future of the town. So I appreciate that, and I do have a resolution if there's no other comments or questions.
Well,
Yeah, if you don't care.
yeah, I do want to just make one more comment. Of course, tonight, if this is approved and stuff, you know, I'm kind of excited because you'll be the first female police chief in the town of Marmet. And so,
Has there ever been one in Kanawha County?
I had not found one in Kanawha County. All I could find was Vienna and West Philippi.
Okay.
Yeah, I
There was
thought
one
this
at Pratt.
Yeah, but that one doesn't count.
You asked if there was one in Kanawha County, but.
That one doesn't count, and we all know that one doesn't count. She wasn't legally able to do that.
No.
She wasn't a cop.
yeah.
She wasn't an officer.
Yeah, but just going, but it, you know, is exciting times, and especially for, you know, the young ladies that's in this community and young ladies growing up, you know, it's a good opportunity to be a role model and kind of just show them they can be anything that they want to be. And so this is a first for Marmet. So, yeah, so that's kind of exciting too, just to even, you know, have you considered.
Absolutely. Very honored.
Mhm.
Yeah, yes.
If I may,
Yeah, I am.
Mayor,
Yep.
I just, I wasn't able to meet you at the interview. I had to miss that one, but I know from looking at the qualifications, very qualified. For speaking to people in the area, they speak very well of you. And I think it's a good note. That's what's said. It doesn't matter where you come from, your gender, your color, your ethnicity. If you could do the job, you won't have a peep out of me. You know, and I look forward to, if it goes through, I look forward to working with you and get the ball rolling on this thing.
And before you read the resolution, Ms. Recorder, I did want to mention that, you know, I had received a petition from some of the residents, I think about 57?
Yeah, 57, and they came from 39 households.
Okay, and it was a petition to reinstate the prior chief under my administration 5 years ago. And, you know, I really appreciate the input, and I did give, you know, due consideration. And I do want to let everyone know that this individual still works for PD and can still, you know, carry out duties as appropriate and make an impact, I believe, similar to what had happened before 5 years ago. So I really appreciate the input, but, you know, I'd like to head in a new direction with a new face, someone independent of the town that can offer newer solutions, you know, to what we face. And a fresh view, correct. So with that, if you don't mind to read the resolution, I appreciate it.
Well, I'm the librarian, so you know what I do. A resolution of council of the town of Marmet approving the hiring of Eva Mays as new chief of police. Whereas the town of Marmet recently accepted expressions of interest for the chief of police position for the town of Marmet. Whereas many qualified individuals submitted statements of interest for this position, and whereas the town was impressed with the qualities of the potential candidates seeking the position of chief of police, and whereas after much deliberation, the mayor, in consultation with the personnel committee, has identified a candidate that he believes is the best candidate for the position, and whereas Article 8-10-1B of the West Virginia Code authorizes the mayor of a Class 4 town to appoint the chief of police. Whereas the town has appointed Eva Mays to serve as the chief of police for the town of Marmet. Whereas Mayor Von Talbert believes that Ms. Mays has the necessary skills and training to perform this job at the level expected by the town and its residents. And whereas Mayor Von Talbert requests the support of the council in the confirmation of this most important position. Now, therefore be it resolved by the mayor and the council for the town of Marmet that Eva Mays is hereby appointed and confirmed as the new chief of police for the town of Marmet. Be it further resolved that the town thanks all those candidates who expressed an interest in this position. And be it further resolved that this resolution shall be effective upon passage by the town council.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
I do.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll make a
Second.
I have a
Good.
motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you. And just, can I add something real quick?
Yeah.
To what my vision is? I would like to also, I mentioned business owners, but I think it's important to get out and speak with residents. I'm not afraid to knock on somebody's door and just say, hey, here I am. What can we help you do? What do you need? What do you see? Just let me know. And I know the mayor and I and the committee also discussed holding public forums. I've participated in those for years. I find that they're very, very useful. You get a lot of information from your residents. And again, they know what's going on more than anyone else. So I failed to mention that earlier, so sorry.
And in that vein, we'd like to have a public meet and greet, sometime over the next couple of weeks. I assume you wanted to give notice and so, we have some time, but to order uniform and equipment and such. But I'd like to have a public meet and greet and invite the public to meet you, maybe at our recreation building and have refreshments. But I think that's great and I really appreciate it. I do have some things to sign if you don't mind hanging around. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
very much.
Congratulations. Me.
Yeah, with the mask.
Okay, next item on the agenda is an ordinance establishing limits as to where and duration that tents can be used. First reading, I'm sorry. Recorder Fontalbert.
Yes, we, have had, some tents starting to go up. Officer Buttrick, has run a few off. Yeah. And, while I believe that one was on town property, correct? I know that other municipalities have instated one of these. I was talking to our attorney Scott about it, and if it's on our property, yeah, we can easily throw them off. But my concern is ones that set up camp, like the house we were discussing earlier for the meeting, and they just set up camp, just to, they put in the tent, that's now where they live. And that's where this comes in. Now, kids, I don't want, I used to camp in a tent, Marina's done it. I'm not talking about that kind of, but I think we need something, not necessarily because of our property, but just to make sure somebody doesn't get enterprising and decide to rent out their yard. I know there's even in St. Albans where they had issues with somebody just bought the property and told them, you probably know which one I'm talking about.
There's so many.
But, what do you all think? I think I think we need it.
Well, it's better to be, proactive, definitely, and, it may not be a huge situation now, but it don't mean that it couldn't develop to one, and it doesn't mean that we shouldn't have something on our books to cover it, to give those tools for law enforcement to be able to use, especially if it's not outlined clearly in state code. I know we have to also follow state code, but, we need things, on the books, to help our officers as well.
Yeah, and it states, which I'll read in a minute, that, if we designate a place, if a campground would open up for wherever. But, and as well, there is a number of days that's in this one, I believe it's 14 days, it does not have to be consecutive. But, 14 days and they're done, whether it's, 2 days here, a month later, 2 days, it's 14 days period.
I hadn't had to read, is it also, helping out like with tent cities and things
Yeah,
like?
that's the whole purpose of it.
Okay, all
Is,
right.
and like I said, I mean, we're able to easily, well, not necessarily easily, but gotta find them. But, remove them from town property and, state property and just anything in city limits. But what's on private property that, I think becomes the issue.
Yeah,
Because I know in other places that is where part of the issue has come from.
mhm.
And, like I said, I don't want anybody to get enterprising, decide to rent tent spaces that they, on their own property, and then they have their own little
Yeah.
tent motel. So, want me to read it, or y'all,
Well-
y'all got any discuss, I'm sorry, man.
No, I was gonna ask Scott, how about if we were to institute a fee for someone to, set up a tent, which they obviously couldn't pay, but, have an actually fee structure like we do for our yard sales? We don't actually charge, but we do require a permit. And, I know in the past we've discussed, panhandling fee, that would kind of prevent that type of thing beside the road. That might discourage, if it's legal. Yeah, it's kind of out of the box, but,
Oh, excuse me.
But there's all manner
Mhm.
we work on websites. This needs some work too. First, but maybe so this is just a go by.
Okay.
I don't think it's rushed. It just seems pretty popular. That's what these ordinances. But the problem with this is too, because as you mentioned, it's in the backyard, it's like. People camping out.
Somebody switched the seat out. I know, I mean, before, somebody had to. No, it's never done this. Never.
So, this ordinance shouldn't be class 4.
Yeah.
No.
Sure.
Agree with that, but at the same time, we can't have everybody unknown, especially with other alternatives. Yeah, this is just to go by, there's other ones, this is pretty simple, there's just all up pages. So I just take a look, yeah. Question whether you even have a.
I mean, if they're living in a tent, it's not like they're gonna be able to bail themselves out of jail. I mean, I don't wanna make them destitute. I mean, they're already in a tent. But we can't have them do it. It's not safe for them, and, you never know. I mean, I'm not saying the people out there would do anything, but, I wouldn't want my children around that, or be near it, or close to it, or even the possibility of it, or just, I think it's a must. I can't, safety.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely. Oh, yeah.
I mean, it just, I don't know, you want me to read it? Somebody wanna talk, what?
Well, no, I was just gonna say, I know we can talk about it, but Chuck, I mean, you and the guys have seen it, you've been living it out there, so.
The thing about it is, with these kids, they're normally typically out of sight, out of mind. They're over the riverbank, they're up in the woods, they're still in the city limits, right out under the bridge. You have to get out of the car to find them. You can't drive your car freely. You have to get out of the car. With the foliage going off, we're starting to see it.
Mhm.
And previously, we was, as soon as we find one, we were born. It's a whole problem for us. Everybody comes and they live in the area and they start breaking into things, and they move on. It's a problem. We try to move on. I would like to see, you guys are gonna start in the year. Most of these people, they, don't camp beside the river or a creek, city, or water.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I was gonna mention that, cause up on the Selby's old property, there was some people hired to cut grass, and they realized that they had been building campfires and stuff. I mean, nobody knew it was out there. I mean, they could've caught the whole hillside on fire. And,
I mean,
it's a
you-
lot of trees, and there's still some houses, and,
Well, I mean, obviously, you've dealt with this at Charleston, obviously not on this level. And, I mean, Charleston, they got to the point where they, it was a whole community. I don't want it to get to that point.
I've been there with guys.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know you all have gone up there to make sure they don't come this way.
Hey, you wanna read?
All right, an ordinance of council creating, enacting, and approving Article 137.03 of the codified ordinances concerning camping within town limits. Article 1101, camping within town limits. Definition. For the purpose of this article, the following definition shall apply unless the context clearly indicates or requires a different meaning. Camp or camping, to temporarily stay, reside, or dwell in a place using a non-permanent shelter while conducting activities of daily living such as eating, sleeping, or storage of personal possessions in such or around a non-permanent shelter. Non-permanent shelter includes without limitations any tent, shack, house, trailer, travel trailer, motorhome, camper trailer, automotive, or any form of cover or protection from the elements other than clothing and not considered a permanent residence. 1101.02, unauthorized camping. A, unauthorized camping on public property. Except as may be permitted within parks by the town council, no person shall camp or squat upon any public property owned by the town, including, without limitation, streets, easements, parks, dump sites, creek beds, utilities, substations, or parking lots. No person shall leave at any such place any non-permanent shelter to be used or that could be used for the purpose of camping. B, camping on private property, except as may be permitted within campgrounds or trailer parks designated and approved for camping. No person shall camp or squat within the town for a period to exceed more than 14 days. 2, the days need not to be consecutive days. Penalty. A, any person found guilty of a violation of Article 1101 for the first offense, he or she shall be guilty of a misdemeanor, and upon conviction thereof shall be punished by a fine in an amount set forth by council from time to time. B, any person found guilty of a violation of Article 1101 for the second offense, he or she shall be guilty of a misdemeanor, and upon conviction shall be punished by imprisonment in the town jail, which we gotta take out because we don't have one, or by such fine or imprisonment. C, for any person found guilty of a violation of Article 1101, the offender shall, within 48 hours of conviction, remove or cause to be removed any such item or items in violation of 1101, and his or her failure to do so shall constitute an additional offense against the provisions of said article. The continued failure or refusal of such offender to comply with the provisions of Article 1101 shall constitute a separate, distinct, and additional offense for each successive 48 hours of such failure and refusal. And upon conviction of such second and successive convictions, such offender shall be punished by imprisonment in the town jail, which we, for not more than 30 days, or by fine in the amount set forth by council from time to time, or by both such fine and imprisonment, with the cost of removing and disposing of said items to be charged to the offender. C, for any offender imprisoned in the town jail, 48 hours to remove the violating item shall not run until said person is released from jail. Yeah, we got her.
Yeah, we'll need to fix that
Yeah.
part too. I don't know, should we set a fine in this, or is that like do by like a separate resolution, or if we did like fix up some kind of fine system? Okay.
For the next meeting?
That's the point, though.
Yeah, because we probably
That's
should
the
set
point,
the
though.
fine,
Right,
set
to
some
deterrence.
fines. Of course, I don't really look for us to collect it, but if they know they have it hanging kind of over their
Right,
head,
if you gotta
they
pay
may
money,
not
you
want
won't
to
set
come
up your
back.
shop,
What do you,
in theory.
it covers all town property, any town property, easements or anything, and private property. Well, it says, it's even private property, which the town, estate's property would be private property. So I would just, I assume that would, right?
So I could not
Sorry, I
set up
got
a
lost.
tent city in my backyard like I
Yeah,
would anyway,
So
but.
yeah, like you're saying, that would, it would cover that as well. Oh, I didn't know there was two beaches.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, within city limits.
Yeah. It should, as long as it's in city limits.
Yeah, I kinda wanna change that.
Yeah, we probably need to tweak that too.
Cause it's 14, oh, okay, yeah, it can't be a private property,
Yeah, it's
14
private.
days.
Okay, that's on private
So
property.
in other words, I can just pitch a tent in your backyard for 14 days.
Yeah, I don't know about those. That's
I'll
where-
even let you
that's where
come
the
in and
whole,
eat.
Like if, you know, after so many days, they need to come, I don't see kids and, you know, even family members, you know, camping for 14 days or
I'm not gonna stay out in a tent with my kids for 14 days, ain't no way.
No.
So I'd like to make a change on that, the number of days. Yeah, I'm like, there's tweaking.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we need to
Like a
put a
Friday
fine in
to a
here
Sunday
and
might be
maybe
nice.
alter those days and of course take out the jail verbiage.
I mean, that's why I keep going to you two. I mean, you were wanting something with some bite, what do you think would work?
Yeah, what would be bite?
Well, I mean, I don't wanna sound like a bad guy.
No.
We catch kids, we catch like kids.
And then you gotta deal with the sanitation and all the other issues they've left behind. The HIV, I mean, it's just,
Yeah, hepatitis C, HIV,
Yeah.
and
I see the no, is that, okay.
yeah, and maybe we can give you a copy of this and let you kind of hash over it too, and maybe help us with some verbiage.
Both of you.
Make sure you're giving her the right thing, because I got paper, I just had all kinds of papers in there.
Aaron, yeah, give me both pieces.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, here's your assignment, kids. It's a group project going.
Hey, Chuck. Hey, Chuck.
Yeah.
Hey, Eva. I won't hold up the meeting, but would you care with Ruth, assistance as a, notary to complete those back in the back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well,
I probably should. I'll let her.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, thank you all.
tell
You're
Ruth to,
welcome.
show the other office and y'all can hash out offices. Ruth knows the other office, and tell her.
Move on, David. Move on.
Okay.
Let's move on.
Thank you.
Moving on, we have, request for quotes RFQ for town security.
Missed one.
Missed one.
No?
Code enforcement.
Oh, code enforcement, I'm sorry. I do have a resolution prepared for code enforcement. We need, in my estimation, a person outside of our regular staff to handle this. You know, so that, they're not distracted and our officers are not distracted, by code enforcement, which is important. But, I'd like to consider, or for council to consider, hiring someone independently, to begin either 1 or 2 days a week, to work our code enforcement issues. And like I say, we don't have to do this tonight, but I have talked to Dave Fletcher over at Bell, Mayor of Bell, and he's willing to, discuss splitting some costs, with Marmet and hopefully a couple other jurisdictions if possible. But, I just wanted to get your temperature on that. I mean, I just think, so that we don't encumber the, hours and resources of our regular PD, we have a code enforcement officer that's dedicated to that solely.
Just a couple days
I
a week.
like
Yeah.
that.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
it
think
is.
it's needed.
Mhm.
It's really needed.
Well, and I think when Chief Ryan was doing it, it became a problem for him. He
Right.
He should have been, and it's not his fault. I mean, it was part of his stuff. And it was a conflict. I mean, people just got angry seeing him coming, and it was just, mow your yard, dude, and it needs to be a separate thing. It was too much on him.
Yeah.
Flat out, it was just too much on him.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it really is. And
Yeah, and it should be done separately, so that way the police can concentrate on what they
Police-
need. Yeah, and this is just strictly code and,
Yeah, if they would need, and if whoever it is would need their assistance with whatever they can get them, but
oh, yeah, absolutely. But of course, it will be a trained individual.
I make a motion, we do that, David.
okay,
Yeah.
I'll
And
second
we,
it. Create a part-time code enforcement position.
okay. I've got a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. I'll read the resolution. It's a resolution of council of the town of Marmet creating a part-time code enforcement position. Whereas the town of Marmet desires to create a job position for an employee to be hired to work as the part-time code enforcement officer and whereas the previous chief of police performed the duties of the code enforcement position, and whereas the mayor and council believe that this position is needed on a part-time basis, and whereas after reviewing the various needs of the town of Marmet and requirements for the positions, council believes it is prudent to create a part-time code enforcement position, and whereas state law authorizes the town council to create job positions as it deems necessary for the town of Marmet. Now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and council for the town of Marmet that the position of part-time code enforcement officer is created and the salary for said position will be determined by this council. And be it further resolved that this resolution shall be effective upon passage by town council.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I had
Are you okay?
a motion and I had a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes. So, if you want to, I mean, we could post this. This is also falls under my, future item here for various position postings. And in the meantime, I'll try to talk to some other mayors and see if they'd be interested in sharing as well. But yeah, I think, you get somebody that secures maybe 3 or 4 towns, it would be a good position for that person, so.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Nikki Meadows just messaged and said that her husband was interested. He's
Okay.
military police.
Is he a code enforcement?
I don't know, I guess he would have to take the class, I'm sure.
Yeah, you have to be certified or have that class to be
Yeah.
certified for it, but yeah, absolutely. And,
Yeah.
and, if it is a joint deal, then we can get together with, and have a, what is it, intergovernmental agreement with, whomever, to do that, so that'd be great. Shows some cooperation too within Upper Canal Valley. Anyway, I appreciate it. Moving on is the request for quotes, RFQ, and town security project.
Well, we talked about that.
Yeah, we did. We can move them. A discussion regarding reimbursement of fines and fees to Jenny Harless. I put this on the agenda at Ms. Harless's request, and Counselor stepped out, but council have any debate before we toss this to Scott for his opinion?
I don't know
Okay.
the full details of it, so I believe he does.
Okay,
So I'll just lean on
okay, well,
his prerogative.
let's skip this one and come back to that then.
Oh, okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right. Next on the agenda is animals defecating in the yards, Councilperson Armentrout.
Yeah, I've gotten several complaints, through emails, verbal, coming to, my place of business. And I'm not sure what I mean, I don't know how to take care of it, but, after you get so many people complaining, and then also, got one complaint where somebody's out walking the dog, 2 or 3 other dogs just running loose. I don't know if it's something that new code enforcement, like told that one lady, if you've got it on video, we can see who's doing it. You have a picture who's bringing their dog there in front of your house or in your yard, letting them do this, maybe we can take, but up until that, I'm not sure what we can do.
Right.
I know there's laws, we have laws and ordinance, but, I mean, how do you know which dog done what?
Yeah.
Well, we do have an issue with the same dogs coming off of by Washington Avenue. It's the same dogs every time you turn around. They're always being returned home. I've took them home several times. They're not aggressive, but it's still the point of they're running loose.
Yeah, and they're not supposed to be, so, if we do get a code enforcement officer, maybe they can address that. But if it's somebody actually walking their dog and not cleaning up after it, there you go again, it's gonna have to be someone that actually drives by and sees them doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that parallels what I discussed with one of our residents regarding trash and, littering. Unless you can identify the perpetrator, it's almost impossible to find anyone. It is impossible unless you can identify, the perpetrator or the owner of the animal. And I'll say I have the exact same problem, in my yard, and, the Ring cameras, which are great, mine is not, I guess, sensitive enough or placed well enough to catch every episode. So, I mean, it's frustrating.
Yeah, there's only so much range.
Yeah, and it's certainly disrespectful of those citizens that allow their pets to do that. But it is very difficult, and I just hope that, our residents understand that you know, we'll do what we can, and maybe with the new code enforcement officer, like you said, we can dedicate some more resources, as well as our new and improved camera system, which I hope, you know, aids us in a lot of different areas. So,
Yeah.
we empathize with everyone that experiences this, but it's just difficult, you know, so.
Yeah, and then that's it, you know, and a lot of, you know, cities and communities and stuff have, you know, very strict rules and ordinances and stuff about picking up after your pets and things when you're walking them, and, you know, there's a lot of communities that don't have the same issues that we do. I know we've got fines in place, but, you know, something does need to be done, you know, I have pets too, but you've gotta be a responsible pet owner, and maybe we can come up with some crafty ideas. And of course, I know, I have seen some things on the internet and stuff where communities have done like internet campaigns and stuff, you know, with cool little videos and stuff. And I remember when we did outreach, it wasn't with dogs, but part of Webster County, well, Webster Springs was having a lot of complaints, you know, when they had like, you know, the Lumberjack Festival and stuff. You know, citizens coming in from other states and stuff was seeing all the cigarette butts and stuff on the ground and thought it was disgusting and stuff, you know, and so with the Tobacco Prevention Coalition, we came up with, you know, a little campaign, don't be a butt, pick it up, you know, that kind of thing. Maybe we can do something like that to kind of encourage citizens, and maybe if we get some of these beautification grants and things like that, you know, and try to help things look nicer, maybe that will also encourage, you know, citizens to be a little bit more proactive in helping keep the community clean, whether it be trash or waste with their pets or et cetera, maybe, you know, so, but something definitely needs to be done.
Sorry.
Very good.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other comments regarding this item? Okay, our counselor is back, backing up one for the discussion regarding reimbursements of fines and fees to Jenny Harless. Scott, are you familiar with this, and do you have any comment regarding your position, what we should do?
Sure. Well, I mean, I can only kind of summarize what we spoke
Sure.
about back in October of last year. And actually, I believe at the time, Mayor Snodgrass asked me to take a look at this, and we had several discussions on it with council, but I did speak to the town clerk at the time, also spoke with the municipal court judge. And so I think the analysis at that time, Mayor, was simply that Ms. Harless had requested a new court date. She called the court reporter. She gave her a new date. I guess Ms. Harless didn't write the date down and said she demanded a written notice, which quite frankly, my experience is we don't do that very often. Matter of fact, when I've asked for continuances in court, there is no new notice. I mark it on my calendar. So I don't see any requirement under any of our rules or regulations. I hate that this thing's carried over to this new council, but I thought the issue was resolved back then. I don't see any basis for reimbursing anybody. I hate that for Ms. Harless, but I don't see any basis for reimbursing. I think it might not have been perfect, but I think the court reporter did what was required of her. She gave her a new hearing date, and that's the essence of it. I don't see any need to reimburse anybody for that. I mean, that was in June, and the issue comes up again 4 months later in October. You know you're in court, and you don't check about it all in 4 months. It doesn't make sense to me. The thing did not disappear, and so I would have been concerned myself that I did miss a hearing date. So again, this is not, you know, we don't send out new notices for every court hearing. Particularly if somebody calls and says, give me another court date, I can't make that one. It should be that person's responsibility to write the court date, and it's unfortunate. But again, I thought this matter was dealt with at that time, and it seems like it won't go away, but it should go away because I think an answer was given at that time that is the position of the town as far as I can tell. Is there any questions regarding that?
Nope.
Moving on.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is the posting of job vacancies, and we've pretty much covered this. We have a number to post, and I appreciate anyone's input over the next day or two, working with BJ to nail this down. We'll get Brian's input on the flexible position. And I think that'll accomplish quite a bit. Any other questions or comments on the job vacancies? Okay. Next item. I'm sorry, did you have any other comments, Debbie, on personnel? Okay, sorry about that.
Pretty well covered it all.
Okay. Parks and Rec, Ms. Armitage, do you have any opening comments on Parks and Rec?
Nope, we've just got the Halloween coming up, and of course, Thanksgiving dinner, and Michael and I've spoke with that, and we still
That's right.
not come up with anyone that's willing to step up to the plate and cover that, so.
How bad of a thing is it? Is everything pretty well cooked? I mean, what do I, if I felt,
Obligated.
no, BJ. Well,
Here-
somebody's gotta do it.
Here's the, wait, hang on. You wanna go down to that, wait till we get there, to get to that item?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because
So
I
you-
did have some citizens
Yeah,
and stuff.
hold your
Yes.
horses about 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Give me 5 minutes.
Anything else?
yeah, because
No.
Okay.
Hey
Okay.
Francis, did you wanna tell them about the kids making, $100 and some dollars?
Oh, well, yeah, the kids did do another little lemonade stand, and actually it's been $2 or $3 more donated that, and it's closer to $150, which has made them a little over $300 they made with the lemonade stand. And we're hitting just, a little over $1,000 between that and what we're doing there at Chums,
That's great.
for,
Maybe
towards
we
the new
could-
fence.
Maybe next, well, it's getting colder, but, hey, Deb. What? You think we could have them do it between stores? I wouldn't right now. Like you said, it's getting colder. Fine, Deb, you're right. Well,
Yeah.
we'll have to come up with,
Bigfoot.
Uber some lemonade around. I mean,
Yeah.
well, it's getting
Well-
colder, you know what I'm saying?
Well, if we done it on a warm day, I really was thinking about maybe Francis putting the lemonade on the back of the golf cart when we go around town. I think that's gonna be a hit.
We'll see.
Cause they done that at the campground where I was at.
yeah, and, yeah, then that's a good idea. And then, of course, talking about Halloween, make sure we get all that hammered down, because I had citizens kind of asking, exactly, and I said, told them tonight that we'll kind of get everything finalized at tonight's meeting, about where the kids can pick up treat bags and all that good stuff.
Okay. Sounds good. I told Barry that it wasn't necessary for him to be here tonight, given the COVID goings on in the office and such, so, that's why he is not here. But, next item is Halloween discussion. Councilperson McGee?
Yes, sir. We'll back up one thing. I know from talking to Barry, I know right now with the schedule at the rec center, Mondays and Wednesdays, we have Riverside Youth Basketballs practicing. Tuesdays, of course, we have the fitness class, and Thursdays is line dancing. And of course, we have the dances on the weekend. So, week to week, you have some filling up dates here at the rec center. But for Halloween, I just wanted to nail this down because we're coming up on trick or treat next Saturday night, I believe. And I know there was some interest in, Barry has a dance that night, and having the trick or treat right out here in front of City Hall. The kids could walk up, kind of pair up. You have City Hall here, you have the fire department here. We also pass out candy. We have police outside. We put a fire truck outside. We could do that if everybody's interested in that.
I think that would be a big hit.
Gonna be the best.
Okay. Is trick or treat on October the 30th?
Yes, it's
Saturday
a
night.
31st?
I thought it was
Okay.
the 30th.
No, it's on
30th.
Saturday, it's the 30th.
30.
Yeah,
Oh.
the 31st is on a Sunday.
Saturday night.
Yeah, this Saturday's the 23rd, so I wanted to
6
make
to
sure
8.
clear that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, 6 to 8, Saturday, October the 30th.
Yes.
And so the kids can trick or treat in town and also come here for a treat bag, right?
And the fire
Yes.
department get,
Okay.
well, they'll see the fire department when they come out. I know, and it might be good having all of us together, like,
Yeah.
the cops and everything. It might be something,
Yeah, I think it'll be good.
Mhm.
We'll have our new chief out there with us.
Hey, yeah.
Well, we should have plenty of candy. I think there's almost close to 5,000 pieces of candy
Oh,
sitting
yeah.
back here.
we just
So
gotta
I think
start filling bags.
Ruth took care of that. So
Next week.
yeah, we should be good to go. Like I said, we'll do it out front of City Hall and make sure to let everybody know about that. So they can walk right up and get their candy, get their bags. And Yeah, next Saturday night.
Rock and roll.
Let's do it.
Did you say you're doing hot chocolate or not? Maybe I was just,
Debbie would love to do
hot chocolate
for everybody.
sorry. Never mind.
Again.
Oh,
It
well.
might be chilly. It would be a good idea.
Well, knock yourself out, Teresa.
Okay. Well, the women's club could do that.
Knock
Yeah,
yourself out.
possibly.
Uh,
Keep it hot for them too. I know, I done been that route.
Okay.
This is cold. I said, well, just pretend it's chocolate milk.
I know,
Okay?
I know Ruth said that we had a little bit left in our budget for
Yeah.
Halloween, if there was anything that you guys wanted her to get extra for the bags. I know she mentioned like fruit snacks and like a Capri Sun or something. But I mean, that's just,
That'd be good.
Yeah,
or like something healthy for them.
sure.
Gonna put all that healthy there with all that candy.
Yes,
That ain't
that's what she
bad.
said.
That ain't bad.
A toothbrush.
Yeah, toothbrush. Toothbrush would be good. Toothbrush and dental floss.
There you go.
That's what I was gonna say, some flaws.
Yeah, I'm sure
what I was
dentists
gonna say,
love
some
this time of
flaws.
year.
Yeah. Toothbrush
Oh, I
and dental
guarantee it.
floss.
All right, next item, Thanksgiving, Mr. McGee.
Yes, sir. That is, after get done with Halloween, that will be up next. And, I know some people have volunteered to help out. I'd like to kind of get away from the perception of get somebody over it and it's all on them to do it. You know, I think if we get enough help, you know, we can divvy up some responsibilities, kind of tackle it as a team. So it's not all on one person, you know, not all the responsibilities on one person, you know, because that's I mean, I get down there, I think around 11:30 to start delivering at noon, and you've been down there at 4 or 5 a.m.
Yes,
already working.
yes.
That's a long day for those
Yes.
individuals. So I think as much help we can get, anybody listening out there would love to help out, you know, and cook a little food, and like I said, do it as a team, not put it on anybody's shoulders. You know, just kind of do it together, divvy up some responsibility.
I'll get with Bruce tomorrow and see what we got last year on turkeys and hams and stuff. Somebody else will do the other. I'll take care of what has to be taken care of at Kroger.
I can help out some too.
I mean,
And of course, I know the women's club was already wanting to like bake some cakes or.
they always do that. They usually,
Yeah,
they
but-
always gave me 10 or 12 cakes or pies or whatever they decided.
And some of them may be willing to come out and help for the dinner too.
But we're not doing anything inside. It's gonna be takeout only.
Yeah. so
Right.
it's like- Yeah.
So, you know, you're gonna need some, but then again, if you get too many, they're gonna be in everybody's way.
Mm-hmm.
Cause I'm telling you, I started at 6 o'clock in the morning filling boxes for takeouts. And if you get more than 3 or 4 people in there, they're just in the way.
Well, the one thing you could do, if you had enough help, you could rotate.
Rotate
Yeah,
You could-
you
yeah,
know.
absolutely.
You can do some rotations because
Absolutely.
being down there all those years, everybody in the kitchen they take breaks
Absolutely.
because it gets pretty hot in that kitchen
Yes,
doing
it
all that
does.
cooking. It gets tiring.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
rotating some things out, if anybody wanted to do it, you know, for a couple hours at a time, and then rotate it out, and that wouldn't be an issue to me. I
Well,
mean,
what hours are you gonna do it for?
well, it'd be up to those individuals to figure it out. You know, if we got enough help.
No, I mean, you gotta have a start time and an end time.
Oh, you talking about the dinner
The dinner
itself?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
Yeah.
What have we always done? I'm blanking
I
right
I
now.
don't
think it
remember.
ended at like 2. Was it 2?
No, it went to
I was
three
saying-
3 o'clock.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think I seen some minutes or something like noon to 3 or something
Noon to
12 to 3?
for the actual food, you know, coming to get food. I think I seen something in some minutes that for the takeout, you know, of
Well, I
course.
think they ought to be delivered. Set on people's porches.
We'll be there.
That's right. Oh, I know that.
We'll be
But I'm
there.
saying,
Yeah.
I think everybody ought to call in. I need 2.
Also,
Instead of
just do
this,
all
this, I
delivery and
need
no.
7 or I need 8. No, you don't. There's 3 people live there. You need 3. You know what I'm saying? I've done run into that.
I'm kind of like Debbie because it would be
Huh?
easier to keep track of.
Oh, I know.
If you
We've
done
run
all
into that. I run
delivery
into it every
only.
year. And
Because
I'm
then
like,
you
no,
wouldn't
you're
get the
not
same
getting 8
people
dinners.
coming down and pick up food after you already dropped it off.
Yeah, they'll come and pick it up after you've already delivered it to them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I know.
wow.
I've been there, done that.
Yeah, so delivery would probably be the best.
Yeah.
That could be an option.
I mean, we could. I think we delivered probably around 300 dinners last
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
We just run a ballpark every year, around 300.
Take them, set them on the porch, there you go. I mean, everybody pretty well.
Well, we'll knock
knows
on your
who
door.
lives where.
Yeah, I wouldn't want them having food getting cold.
Well,
Well, I mean,
It's a
most
good
people have a
opportunity to
microwave.
smile. Yeah, it's a good opportunity to be able to smile and
Uh,
greet your neighbors.
Yeah, well, okay.
well, what we try to do is if nobody's home, we try to go back.
Yeah.
You know, and we try to make sure they get their dinner. But
So you delivered 300 last
Yes.
year?
ballpark, yeah.
But
Yes.
but that doesn't include what people come and got?
Right.
Well, what you had was last year because of COVID.
Right.
And you're kind of running the same environment this year. We did deliveries, which are around 300, and you had a single file line out the door for people to take one to go as
Exactly.
well. Some of those were doubled up.
Oh, I was just wondering
So
how many meals total?
Janet told me it was closer to 600.
Oh,
'Cause
my
she
gosh.
heard last time we
That's
was
about right,
talking,
yep.
she sent me a message and she said
Yep.
that was really incorrect. It was closer to 600 meals that they had prepared.
Yeah,
So some people.
And then I talked to Barry and he said at least 550.
yeah.
So some people had them delivered and still came up and picked
Oh,
up
sure
more.
they do.
yeah, it was kind
I
of
was,
doubled up in
like I
spots.
was saying last year, I think they ought to call, maybe call and like,
Well,
What is it?
you could have a roll of tickets. People could
that's what I thought of that too.
I know, but I mean, a lot of people don't get eight
write their
dinners.
name down,
Wait a
give them a
minute, think
ticket.
two of you live there. You ain't getting
I
eight
just, I
dinners.
mean, the problem, I mean, people don't need to be stingy.
I love turkey, but
Or, or
Come
not
on now.
stingy, but greedy.
Well, I think the important thing, we have a list. And for, everybody watching, listening along, is to, if you want a dinner, how many you need per household. If you want one, you
call and get on the list.
thank you.
Yeah, you can tell
Um,
it's getting late.
Yeah, I mean, because
Well,
in
we
re-
kinda need something better than that, because otherwise you're gonna have Ruth and Tracy in there, fielding, turkey calls constantly.
Well, we can have them call PJ.
Wait a second, I'm in the
I was
middle of
gonna say, I
kindergarten.
wouldn't care to take on that if somebody want me to do that.
I can take phone calls too to help Francis out.
Well, and they
What-
don't they can also use, PM the Facebook page.
well, the reality of the situation is everybody uses every option.
Yeah.
I've been told they call City Hall, they'll call Francis, they'll call Becca, they'll use everybody. And we'll really just have to work together as a team to combine those lists.
Okay, what
And make
about,
sure they're not duplicated.
A
'Cause
Sure.
some- Yeah, because some people
Well,
just
what-
wants to make sure they'll get theirs, and we'll call everybody, just to make sure they get on the list.
what about Dave's idea with the tickets? And then, I mean, I'm free during the day, so I mean, I can meet up with people to give out tickets if they
Well,
need them.
I'm thinking about that, but the problem is they're gonna be delivering them, and if they're not there,
They won't get their tickets.
It's like,
If they're not there, they're not gonna get it on, if they're on the list anyway,
no,
if they're not there.
like, no. How is Michael gonna know how many they get if they're supposed to hand?
Cause
the
we got them
tickets?
on the list and we'll put them in a bag and this is for 9,600.
No, with the tickets that they were talking about here.
And then about no ticket.
Open yours, Debbie.
Oh, they're open.
I
Very close.
mean, I understand what you're saying, but it just, I think that becomes I don't know, ask Michael, I mean, I don't know how you're meaning to do the ticket. That's where I'm kinda confused with.
Yeah.
Well, Becca just suggested, letting people have tickets to get a dinner, but,
Well, I mean.
Well, Dave had talked about the
Well,
tickets.
that's,
okay.
well,
Made
I
me
mean,
think
where
about
they're
it.
just gonna be delivering them, that's kinda difficult.
Yeah, just call one of us and we'll get on the list.
yeah, and we can combine our list together
Yeah.
to.
And
Then we
make
gotta
sure
put
we
out
don't
our
have people-
information so they can call us.
Well, if our
Well-
Facebook page was up, it would be.
And two,
Our Facebook page is up.
Okay,
Oh,
was it all on
trust me,
there?
Not
I
the
get,
town, not the other one, because it,
That's what I'm talking
I
about.
might know it, I'm at a standstill with it, but.
Okay.
and two,
well,
I think,
people respond more to Facebook than they do a website anyway.
it's important for everybody to look at the list, because that list needs updated.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be good for everybody, because, I mean, we all live here, we know where everybody lives for the most part. And I think it'd be important to look at that list and purge some people off, because there are names on there with the wrong addresses, people don't live here anymore. So I think that would be important for everybody to do as
I
well.
think the biggest problem you're gonna have is like the apartment complexes. That's gonna be your biggest situation, because some of those people have moved out, some of them's moved away, it's not the same people, it's
Ain't
all
on
the time.
the list, ain't getting one.
Historically, we haven't dealt with them too
Right.
much.
Right.
So that's been, you know,
It's been mostly your elderly that
Sure.
you've been delivering.
absolutely,
Right.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
'Cause
Well,
I know you guys usually hit what, Summit Drive and my Holler really hard usually.
oh yeah, yeah, that's, yeah, it's mostly houses. You may get an apartment here and there, but for the most part, we hit homes, like, and like Francis said, elderly people that really can't get out for the most part and come down there. But also on top of all this is, it's a need as well to pass the budget.
Yeah.
You know, and get that done. I know, it's
Yeah.
been, I believe, 2,000.
Right.
It's been 2,000 for the
Yeah.
past few years.
Yeah.
Used to be 3, and we weren't even coming close to that. So it went down to 2, and that's been a nice, comfortable, area for us.
Yeah, that's been realistic.
You think food's a little more?
I know it is.
Yeah.
You know
I
it is.
know it is.
Well, maybe as a safety buffer, maybe 2,500 since food is
Maybe
raised.
we should go to 3.
Right now for my hamburger, I'm paying about $1.50 more a pound than I was 6 months ago. Per
Wow.
pound. When you go through 20 pound a day, it soon
Good.
adds up.
Wow.
That adds up.
Well, we can
No
go,
wonder restaurants are raising their
we can do 3
prices.
just in case, if that, you
Yeah.
think.
And if you don't use it, it's
Absolutely.
not no big deal.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think it's a good
right.
idea.
Yeah, maybe it might be better simply because where the price of food has raised.
You make a motion to set the Thanksgiving budget for 3,000?
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Okay. Well, so any other ideas regarding how to sign people up or just a phone call?
Get a hold of somebody on council.
Well, yeah, they can phone call, or if they want to PM the town page, that's fine too, because, you know, there's several, of course, that checks it, but of course I do check it quite a bit, because I'll
Okay.
get the notifications right on my phone, and I can start a list.
If you can list them in Excel, we could
Yeah.
cross-reference to
Oh,
make sure
yeah.
that nobody's
Oh,
double.
I can do
double
that.
Right.
Okay. All of us could do that, maybe. Okay, any other discussion on Thanksgiving? Okay. Next is the Christmas parade. BJ?
Yeah, Barry called me, cause, just about all of you really joined in on that. Hopefully we can actually have it this year. It went so well that year we did it, and everybody was so involved, but we need to pick a date. So we can,
Charleston's is the 9th.
Charleston's is the ninth.
Right.
Um,
I have ours on the 10th.
I was gonna say, it's
Well, New
always around
Martinsburg
that-
gave me
that
an
Friday
idea, we
night.
can have it regardless.
Do what? What'd you say, Teresa?
Oh, I said New Martinsville gave me an idea regarding parades during COVID, so we can have it regardless, because what they did during COVID is instead of having the parade line marching down, they had them like, standing still, and then the cars drove down the street to view to view everything.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have a parade.
Yeah, but I mean, in the worst case scenario,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
you
So-
could still
right.
have it, just
So-
reverse it.
so
Right.
Friday, it's on a Friday night?
That's the 10th,
Sure.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Makes sense.
So we can start
Yeah.
putting out there for, cause, if I can start going now, and I work, if you work with me, Francis, which I know you will, I said that and I know you absolutely will. I've got all my contacts that did it last time, and, I kept all that, and then go ahead and get it in the paper and start getting more, cause it turned out so well, and I was just so proud of it.
They're already advertising it on the radios,
That's what I'm saying.
TVs.
Yeah, we can go ahead and start,
Yeah.
advertising
Yeah.
for,
Yeah.
clothes and everything else.
Right.
You want me to get Wolf to advertise on the radio?
Walmart's already got-
What time?
What time? That's what I
What time?
Yeah, we got.
They have them early.
I don't know, what do y'all think?
Before, wasn't it 7 or 7:30?
I think it was 7.
7, that's what I'm thinking.
7. Yeah, like 7.
Yeah.
Like 7 works.
Yeah.
Okay, so, December.
Sounds good.
DJ's in charge.
Good deal. We good with
Well,
that?
Justin Bradley has been telling me So Justin, I've got it going. He's been messing me every day. When's the parade?
What's the price?
And then, the decorating contest, like we did last year because of COVID, and I think that was so good. And with the, we'd have Ruth order more, where we had the, I made up the, different categories, and, Jay picked out it worked out perfect, cause he picked out stars as the prizes, and didn't even think about it, and it turned out, it was perfect, cause it was the Star of Marmette kind of thing. I thought it turned out perfect, but I wanna do that again too. We need to pick, we don't have to pick a date for that, right this instant.
Yeah,
But-
and we should kind of go out as much as we can on all these, because these are basically our last hurrahs before 2021 ends out, and, we're past our 100th year celebration too.
But, just start thinking about, like I said, with the decorating contest, we don't have to, pick a date right now, but I just want, start
We can
discussing
do
it.
that next meeting in
Yeah.
November.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just wanted to, start
Yeah.
getting it out there,
Yeah,
and everybody start getting some ideas about the parade.
yeah.
But, yeah, if you would get Wolf on there, that would be awesome.
Yeah, that's
him
it.
Yeah, he was in it last year. He was in it at one time.
And
That
of
one
cour-
time I had it.
And of course, he, offered that he'd help us, promote, anything that's going on. So, we can let him know about Thanksgiving dinner, let him know about Halloween, and,
Not the Thanksgiving dinner, then we'll have everybody.
Oh.
Not my mission.
Oh, okay, boy, this is true. Okay.
Yes,
I stand
I
corrected.
mean, I'm not,
I agree, BJ.
It's going on 10 o'clock. I apologize.
Okay, next item is, good and welfare for council. Anything from council? Well, I had two things. How we looking, BJ, you would know?
Yeah.
I mean, as far as reopening City Hall next week,
I think the cases have gone down at school. I think we're starting to, the town in general with the virus, I think we're starting to stabilize finally. It
Okay.
seems to be going down.
well, yeah,
What do you
you-
all think?
Yeah, and it's going down across the state too. so-
Well, I mean, the state's still bad, but just,
Yeah.
I mean, Marmette was,
Oh, I know.
for a while, we were,
You're
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah, we
It
were
was
surging.
bad.
Yeah, we had us a little surge.
but, Michael, what do y'all think? You all pretty clear over there?
You pretty clear over there?
I feel good, whatever you wanna do.
Well, I just didn't know if, how the fire department, cases.
We're dealing with it right now. Been a bit of a struggle, but it's okay.
But I mean, if everything is good inside, City Hall, and we get to a point where it's kind of calmed down a little bit when we open these meetings back up, I don't have an issue with it.
Yeah, I don't
You
either.
know,
probably, maybe a good idea to keep the mask mandate in place.
Oh,
What do you
yeah.
Oh,
think?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's not going anywhere.
Okay, well,
Yeah, that would be a good idea. to
so
keep.
maybe we can plan to reopen on the 25th and, for regular business with the mask. Is that sound all right?
I'm good with that.
Okay. And if it changes, we can always close up again.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing is, I mean, we can't risk,
No.
two clerks.
No.
We'd have to shut down, so,
And we'll make a decision on the meetings, next meeting,
yeah.
before, when we get to there.
Yeah, maybe not full capacity, but, we can see what
Yeah,
happens.
and
Our full capacity is 4 or 5 people.
Well, that's true.
yeah.
Oh.
I think
And,
we'll
and
be okay.
typically, a lot of people don't physically come to the meetings unless something major's going on.
Right. Okay, well, we'll just address it at that time, I guess. Anything else for council? Public, do we have anything?
Let me check.
Okay.
Get my handy dandy phone.
Oh, I didn't see it till now. What about when the carnival comes down and the workers stay in their campers? Well, that'll obviously, that was good,
That's different.
Steve Vickers asked,
That's
and
different.
that would obviously be something we would permit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
of
it would be,
course.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
not,
that's
yeah, that one would be,
not an option.
Yeah, they're conducting, business and helping
Yeah,
out
that-
with
yeah. That is a good question.
yeah.
Will high school kids help? Alright, do you see anything on Facebook? That was on the, YouTube.
What was about the hospital?
I'm not sure.
I'm not seeing anything.
Probably Thanksgiving.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Got a motion to adjourn, to have a second?
Second.
I'll second.
We're adjourned. Thanks, everybody.